everyone. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I am very conscious that I'm the only thing standing between you and your lunch break. That's the reason why we're going to do this session in English. If I had to do it in German, we'll be here till probably dinner time. So hopefully we're going to make the most of the next 30 minutes. As Yvonne said, my name is Carlota. You can find me on LinkedIn, connect with me. I work at bazaarvoice. And what we're going to touch on this masterclass today, it's about understanding how you can maximize your content strategy, both from all the way to the top of the funnel around reach and awareness, all the way to the bottom of the funnel to make sure you can impact on revenue and conversion. Hopefully you will learn how to maximize every single piece of your assets, of your content, to really make your budgets significantly more impactful and your teams significantly more effective. So at bazaarvoice, we're not new to the content scene. We've been around for about 20 years in the user-generated content space. We work with about 13,000 brands and retailers globally. And these brands and retailers form a network, and that network is actually visited by about 2.3 billion of shoppers monthly. To put it into context, it's about a third of the world population, so pretty big. And the content that these shoppers visit is actually coming from a vast variety of communities: normal shoppers, influencers, creators, fans, followers. So before we dive into the masterclass, I just want to play a brief video that was published at the BBC recently that talks about how relationships between consumers and brands is actually changing. So hopefully they will go ahead.
Done really well, user-generated content allows the consumer to feel like they know the content creator is a human being.
People want to feel connected. In my case, for example, I like to make videos, comedy videos every day. So if I put out a video that has a product placement in it, it's going to feel very authentic to my followers. And I think that my audience likes as well because it feels like I'm talking to them and it feels like a recommendation from a friend.
The holy grail of marketing is when you don't have to do it, when consumers do it for you. And when that authenticity comes through, other people can read it, and that drives the brand heat for our brands.
You are looking at reviews, you are looking at content from your friends and family or creators that you follow. So the shift has happened from brands having control of the shopper journey to really consumers driving that along with creators. As a brand, there's so many different channels that your budget can't possibly stretch that far. So you need to have smarter budget planning, more creativity, and ultimately accept that it's a new world.
The only thing that the brands can do to stay ahead of the curve is to relegate the control to the consumers. Let them speak of your brand, because when consumers love your brand, it's the biggest gift you can have. And if your product's good, if your brand's good, it will sell itself.
Hopefully some of that resonates with some of you here in the room. I love particularly when they said the holy grail of marketing is when the consumers do it for you. I think that's really powerful statement. So today, relationships between brands and consumers is changing. It's changing in real time. The way consumers are looking to make a purchase is not isolated. They're looking for social validation. They're looking to check on reviews and recommendations, social posts, things that their influencers or their creators are actually posting online. And so this presents a challenge for brands, particularly because of the speed that they're consuming and they're looking for that content. If you think about how quickly we browse through Instagram or TikTok, or how quickly we jump from one app to another, the attention span of today's consumers is very, very short. And the challenge for brands is to be able to show at the right time, on the right place, with the right type of content. Now, what we do at bazaarvoice is trying to solve some of the challenges that marketers and CMOs, CDOs of this world actually face, which basically, as I talk to these people, they summarize into three. One of them is speed. Speed into being able to generate enough content and at a scale that is able to meet the demands of those consumers. You always have a new product that you're going to launch that you're going to need content for. There's always new social media channel that you're going to have to serve for. So speed is a key challenge for many markets, many brands and retailers today in the market. The second challenge is about disconnected workflows. A lot of the marketing teams, e-commerce teams use multiple tools, a tool for reviews, a tool for social listening, a tool for creators. And that's even if you actually use a tool. Many of them don't even use a tool today. They may actually have a person in the team just literally uploading, downloading photos all day, which is not particularly effective, neither efficient. And the final one is around ROI. There's no a real way to measure the impact of that content throughout the funnel. And this is at content level, at campaign level, at creator level. And so because primarily the second challenge here, because of that disconnected workflows, we're not able to really connect and understand how a piece of content moves throughout the funnel and understanding the impact that it has throughout. So it's interesting because a lot of marketeers, as I said, agree with these challenges. And yet, when we look at how they spend their budgets, when it comes to creative content, they still spend the majority of the budgets in branded content. It's about 70% of their budget is destined to create branded content. Yes, they might actually do a little bit of influencer content here, some everyday shoppers, like reviews over here, some content creator shoppers over here, but primarily, that is actually focused and centered around branded content, which doesn't really allow them to scale to really meet that demand of the consumers that we were talking today. Now, what we see, though, is those brands that are more of social innovators aim for a much more balanced content mix. And that basically allows them to basically get more for the money. Okay, the budget is going to be stretched much more, and there's content that allows them to scale and to meet the fast needs of consumers today. It's also content that is significantly more authentic than the branded content. In fact, there is a recent study that shows that 79% of consumers trust user-generated content significantly more than they do branded content, which again kind of shows what kind of content those consumers are looking for and how these brands need to start shifting the way they distribute their budgets into looking for a more mixed strategy. Now, you might then thinking, okay, how do we go about solving those challenges that we had and still having a strategy that has a content mixed? Well, there's 3 key steps to that strategy. First, source. Secondly, amplify. And third, optimize. If we look at source, first of all, you need to be able to source content at scale. And content that comes from everyday shoppers like reviews or creators that you might be partnering with and doing campaigns with. Or social fans, for example, by looking at content they've already created. You don't even have to ask for it, right? They are people that are already uploading their experiences, their videos, their photos, hashtagging brands that they really like and they follow. That content is available and it's already there for you to take on. It's about how to source it and how to find it. Amplify your content. Once you have that content, very, very important to not leave it in a single place. Amplify it to your .com, to your website, to your retail partners, to your marketplace, to your social channels, to your media assets, to your marketing assets like newsletters. The biggest mistake that I keep seeing every time with brands is that they leave that social content in the social channels. Why would you leave a content that is highly inspiring, that is highly engaging, to just sit on a single touch point, which is social channels? Is the ability to amplify that content, to be able to really push that content and reuse it throughout multiple channels that really going to help you scale into the demand the consumers are looking for. So amplify, very important. And finally, optimize the outcomes. Measure, measure, measure. If you're not able to measure, the ROI and be able to prove what is impactful, what is not, you're not going to be able to learn what that actually means and also how you can improve and change your strategy to really be more effective. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how we do these 3 things at bazaarvoice, and then we're going to actually wrap it up with a real case example of a customer that we work with that does it really well. At bazaarvoice, we have a platform called Vive. It's an integrated platform that allows brands and retailers that use our platform to activate different type of communities. Whether it's communities of everyday shoppers, we have an app called Influencer. I invite you to go and check it out, download it, sign up to be part of our tester community. We have a social creators community and also social fans that you can activate just by simply looking at that content that already exists. Now, let's say, for example, you want to activate a campaign with social creators. Our AI creator search engine allows you to just type anything in there. Any type of creator you're looking for, the AI will just straight away look based on that prompt. If you have an image that you want to mimic, that is your brand image, that you want to actually find creators that follow and do similar type of content, go ahead, upload that image up there. Again, the AI will go ahead and browse for creators that have done similar content. Straight away, we'll actually send you a list of creators from TikTok, from Instagram, from YouTube. And directly from the platform, you're going to be able to communicate with them, be able to engage, tell them about your brand, try to close that partnership, and obviously send them the brief for the campaigns that you wanted to activate. Once that campaign and that brief is done, the creator will actually publish that content. That content gets straight into the platform, and right away, because you've actually done that partnership with the creator, we'll have the rights approved, which is saving you already time. You don't have to be asking for the approval of the rights and then using them back again. So saves a lot of time, and also tags the products that are being showcased. We do host a product feed of the catalogs of our customers. So in the backend, we can very simply tag the products that that creator is actually showcasing, making and transforming this image or that video into something that is shoppable, because it's now connected to the product and then allows you to connect into the website. What does that look like then? You can then amplify that content once you have it into the touch points that you want. As we said, in this case, your website, where consumers can come in, can interact with that content and drive them a little bit closer into that conversion, into the purchase. In the meantime, while this is all happening, in the back end, we actually have the reporting necessary to show you exactly how much is that piece of content performing, from an engagement perspective, from an impressions, the attributed revenue that is actually creating. So very simple, with a simple solution, allows you to really tackle all the challenges that you have and really look into sourcing the right content at a scale, amplifying that content to the right channels, as well as reporting and optimizing on it. Now, let's look at it from a different lens, from the lens of a funnel. Right, the journey, the customer journey. Everyone probably here is aware of the different parts of what we call that funnel. If we're thinking about the top of the funnel, the awareness, you want to drive your brand awareness, you want to brand your brand equity up there. What should you do, right? What kind of content should be driving and strive to get at that part of the funnel? Well, creators and shopper content, something that is particularly engaging, something that is inspirational. It's what we recommend. In fact, 39% of shoppers use social media to actually discover new products. So do not underestimate the powerful of social media, because nowadays they really are the windows of your digital shelf and your digital shops. In this case, you, for example, can use a creator. He may actually, or she may have actually put a post, a video, a photo. And when you actually capture that photo, you then bring it into your own display on that social media channel, in this case, Instagram. And that is where the consideration happens. As you drive that consumer from engaging on the creator into bringing them into your Instagram page, you can drive a more seamless experience, as well as amplify that consideration. That consumer can then start interacting with other content that is already in there, whether it's your own branded content, whether it's other shoppers or other creator content that sits in that particular page. Not only that, is that when you click on that, you can move a little bit more into that consideration and closer into the purchase, because you can then look at it closely and show the specific product that is being showcased, and from there, being able to link it to the actual shop. Now, the actual shop is very simple. I think a lot of people think that this is just social commerce, and that's when a commercial transaction happens on a social channel. Well, I believe that social commerce is significantly more than that. It's the ability to create shopping experiences of photos and videos, and therefore the social commerce is that bridge between the social channels and the way they're going to end up being purchasing and buying the product. And in fact, 69% of shoppers are inspired in social media, but they end up purchasing somewhere, and I'm actually one of them. I don't like to buy in social channels. I always get inspired in social channels, but I end up actually going and buying in the actual .com. From here, as you can see, you can tag specifically that product that will allow the consumer to then move closer into that shopping experience, making that transition and that digital purchase journey significantly seamless. So let's look at a best-in-class. As I said, these are use case. The business case is actually in our website. You can download it. It's actually Samsonite. If anyone think that suitcases could be exciting, well, they are. We're going to show you how Samsonite actually does it. They went into using examples of content that is a mix of both branded content that they source themselves, as well as user-generated content from creators, as well as normal shoppers. And this is actually their Instagram page. As you can see there, you can browse directly on their page. You can browse, click on any of the content. This is a created piece of content. You can continue browsing. You can see there is a like to buy at the top of the Instagram page, allows you to go into sort of that digital shop that allows you to continue to look for more content for deeper consideration. And as you click on that deeper content, you navigate through that inspiration, it connects straight away into the actual page. And not onto the exact page, but into the actual product page, which is very important. You don't want to actually capture that consumer and then send them into your just generic homepage after they've actually done that research, that awareness, that consideration of the product that they want to buy. You want to directly exactly where they're going to end up doing the buying, exactly on the product description page of the product they're looking for. So very simple click. I think I counted 3, maybe 4 clicks from being inspired and finding something on Instagram all the way to being able to buy that product on the .com. 4 clicks, very, very simple. Now, you can say, as we said earlier, some people might not actually be using Instagram or social channels. How do they do that on their .com? Very good question. This is the example of their own website. As you can see, they have social validation with reviews at the top. As you scroll down, you can interact with their own content that they created. And above or below the fold, in this case, you could see, again, that content that also exists in the social channels, but is also now here on their website, allowing a consumer to browse through this content, clicking into a specific product. Maybe I wanted to have a new color. Straight away goes into that website, onto that page, specifically for that suitcase and that color. And again, I'm able to browse through that content to just really get my validation that the suitcase I'm looking for is the right color and the one that I want. So again, very, very simple. A great example of how they use that social content, not just on the social channels, but also here on their website. Now, they don't actually finish that, Samsonite, and they go one step farther into driving advocacy. Is the last piece of that funnel that we haven't really touched in detail today in this masterclass. But what I really like about this is that Samsonite looks at engaging further with the consumer. So they really encourage their customers to post videos and photos of their experiences with those suitcases and tagging with the hashtag #BeMoved. Now, this is not only creating significant engagement, but is generating a lot of new content. And guess where that content is going to go? It's going to go at the top of the funnel again, at the top of the awareness funnel. So by closing that cycle with that awareness piece, what you're doing is you're fueling, again, that content strategy where you're going to be able to, once again, find more content, new content that is going to go back up at the top, where you can start driving more awareness, more consideration, and more purchase. Now, to say that all this content that is generated by consumers, the videos, the photos, the reviews that we all probably use today still, drives significant increase on conversion. And there's multiple studies out there these case studies, Samsonite experienced the same thing with huge amounts of increase on their revenue just by consumers who are interacting with this content. So it's not only content that is cheaper to source, making sure that your budgets go farther, it's actually generating higher impact and higher conversion. So if I was to give you 4 takeaways of today's masterclass, would be, first of all, develop a strategy that has a good balanced mix of content. Don't just spend most of your budget on the branded content. Just find a balance between that content creators, that UGC, their own branded, that allows you to really serve the demand of the consumer. Source that content from multiple type of communities, from your day-to-day shoppers, if you want the kind of reviews, for example, is sort of like what is more typical of your everyday shoppers, from creators or fans who are already posting that content on the social channels. And then amplify that content, amplify. Do not leave social content in the social channels. Make sure that you are sweating those assets. Now that you have it, maximize it, repurpose, and amplify it in all of the different touch points. I cannot even tell you how important this is and how little I see content being repurposed and reused. So very important, because it's a very easy win for anyone. And then finally, optimize. Measure what is actually impacting and change based on the learnings of your impact. With that, we come to the end. I'll leave you with this QR code if you want to know more about us. We're going to stay here. We've got some time for questions now. If you want to talk to me afterwards, please, I'll be here all day. I've got a couple of my colleagues as well, if you can give us a wave up there. Arnold and Roman, if any of you want to talk to us, we'll stay around for today and tomorrow as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We didn't get any questions through Slido, but maybe you want to ask directly now. You have the chance now. Okay, maybe they...
People are very hungry.
Perhaps, yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we're going to have a break till 1:30. You have lunch, and yeah, see you soon.